Hi guys, good morning. Welcome back to my channel. The topic for today's session is rules, rule set and branch based development. So let us get started. I will log in into the application using the training administrator operator ID that I had created earlier. Okay, let me switch to the Dev Studio. Okay, so let's get started. So before trying to understand each of these three topics that I'll cover today, let us first try to define. So what do we understand by a rule in Pega? So if I have to simplify the explanation of rule, I can put it something like a rule is an instance of rule types in Pega. Now, the next question is, what is rule types? So if you remember from my earlier sessions in the Record Explorer, I showed you that these are the different category of rules in Pega. And if you expand each of these categories, right? So each one of these can be considered as one rule type. Okay, and the instances of these will be considered as a rule. For example, data transform is a rule type, and if I click on it, so I'll be able to see all the instances of the data transform. And if I have to relate it to a rule, so each of these instances is one rule in Pega. So not just data transform, any other rule types also. So for example, property. So property, again, one single instance in the property rule type can be called as one single rule in Pega. So any of these that we create as part of our development journey, whenever we are building any use case from end to end, we end up creating n number of rules. So these are rules. Now, what is rule set then? So a rule set can be understood as a container for storing these rules. Let us try to understand, okay, as part of your development journey, let's say in one sprint, you end up creating 100 rules as part of your user stories and the defect fixes and whatever development task you do, right? So you end up modifying, let's say 100 rules in sprint one. Now, if you have to promote this completed development rules or the completed functionalities, from dev environment to QA environment or staging environment or UAT environment or production environment. So how do you do that? So we basically move rule sets, right? If we have to move one rule at a time, so it will be a very time taking process and it will just be a very tedious task. So what Pega has done is Pega has introduced a concept called rule sets. The rule sets will act as a container of rules. And when you are moving or migrating rules from one Pega environment to other Pega environment, it will be very simple task to move the entire rule sets. Okay. So this example that I gave you, wherein we ended up updating, let's say 100 rules in sprint one. Now, if these rules are completed and the functionalities are working fine and there is a need to move this into our environment, we can just include the rule set version which contains these 100 rules into our product file and we can do the deployment. So this is a simplified explanation of rule set. If I would just like to repeat the definition for you. So rule set is a container of rules that facilitates the migration or the movement of rules between different Pega applications. Okay. So if I have to show you where can we see the different rule sets in our application? So for that, you need to go to the application definition. If you see here, application rule sets. So these are the rule sets in my application. Now, if I have to open a rule set for you, so let me try to open the training rule set. So rule set is always represented by a rule set name and a rule set version. So in this example, the rule set name is training and the version that we are seeing is 010101. So what is this 010101? So this again can be understood as every rule set version is a combination of major, minor and patch. So what is major? Again, this major, minor and patch can be any number between 01 to 99. So if I have to tell you in this particular rule set version, what is a major version? So major version is 01. What is a minor version? So minor version is 01, the middle part of this version. And what is a patch version? So patch version is the cornermost part that you see. So this is the only rule set version that I have in my current application. If I want to create a new rule set version, then we can use the plus icon over here. So if you click on the plus icon, there will be a form that comes up and it will ask you that which version you want to create. So I already have 010101. Let me try to create 010102. So 02 is my patch version. So if I just create here, so you'll be able to see that a new version got added. Okay. Now, on every rule set version, there are certain buttons that Pega provides us. So what are these? Let us try to understand. So lock and save, basically it will, so as if you can see, these rule set versions are unlocked. If I want to lock this rule set version, so definitely I can click on this, and then it will ask us for a password. So it is asking the rule set password. You can set any password, okay, and you have to give the same password. And if you hit submit, so see, this is locked now. Okay. Now, if you want to unlock it, so if you see, the button earlier was lock and save because the rule set was unlocked. But as soon as I locked this rule set, the password, the button renamed itself to unlock and save. Now, if I want to unlock this rule set, I can just give the password that I earlier used to lock it, and it will unlock this rule set version for me. Okay, if you see, this is unlocked now. Now, what is the save? So if you want to change anything in the description, let's say I just want to rename the description to this. So you can go ahead and hit the save button. So that changes will get saved on the rule set version that we have made. And then there is this delete icon. So delete, you can delete any rule set version which does not have any rules. But you cannot delete any rule set version that has rules tagged to it. So that is not possible. If you want to delete any rule set version, so that is only possible whenever we do not have any rules associated to it. Okay. So that is all about rule sets and rule set version. Now there are different validation modes. So this will be covered later. This is the rule count. So how many rules are there in this particular rule set and how many are checked out. Okay, that count you can see from here. Okay, so that's pretty much about the rule set and rule set version. Now moving to the next topic. So what is branch based development? So let us take a scenario. Let us try to understand it in this way, that you're working on a project and you have a team of, let's say, 10 plus developers in your project, and all of you want to work together on their individual user stories. So all of you have your task assigned, user stories assigned, and you want to do parallel development. So whenever we have such instances where multiple people or multiple developers want to work on the Pega application parallelly, so Pega has introduced a concept called branch-based development. So what is this branch-based development? If you see here, there is something in the application definition rule, there is something called development branches. So if you want to add a branch to your application, you can do it from here by clicking on add branch. And in the example that I told earlier, there are 10 developers and all of them are working on their individual user stories. So it is recommended that each of the developers create a branch specific to their user story and only make the development in the specific branches. Once the development is complete, then the branch needs to be reviewed by a senior system architect or a lead system architect, and only once the review is complete, then the branch can be merged. So once the branch is merged, it will be reflecting all the changes into the main rule set. Okay. So I'll be explaining the entire process of how to enable branch-based development in your Pega application now. So the first step that we have to do is, before adding branches, it is recommended to add a branch application. So how do we do that? So for creating a branch application, I will just save as my current application, the main application, into a new name. Okay, so right now my application was training. I'm trying to save as this application into a dev application, which is training_dev. The version will remain 010101. So I will just create and open. Okay, so whenever you try to create a new application, you have to ensure that the application URL alias is also unique, because it cannot have, like, two application cannot have the same application URL alias, and that is what it is giving this error. So let us change this to training_dev. Okay, looks like underscore is not allowed. So let's do training dev and let's save it now. Okay, so now my training dev application is created, and this training dev application needs to have our main application as the built on application so that it will be able to access all the rules that is present in our main application, which is our training application. So let us do that. So let us add our original application, the training application, as the built on application for this dev application. And I will just remove the theme Cosmos because this application is anyways built on top of theme Cosmos. So we don't need that now. Okay, so if you see now, so training underscore dev application is built on top of the training application, and training application is our main application. So now whatever branches or whatever development activities needs to happen, right? So that needs to happen in this training underscore dev application. So this will be my dev application wherein all the in progress code or all the development activities will happen by using branches. And once the code is complete and is in ready to move state, then only the branches will be merged. Once the branches get merged, then the actual training application will start reflecting our changes. Okay, so now how can we make sure that the developers are pointing to this training dev application? So if in a project I have the development team and I want those to directly default to the dev application, not the actual application, and the QA team members need to directly see the main application rule set. So how do we do that? So we can do that by making use of access groups. So if you remember in the earlier session, I explained you that access group will tell us which application an operator is pointing to. So if you want your development team members to point to the training dev application, so we have to create a new access group that will point to this training dev application, and that access group we need to provide in the operator IDs of our development team members or the operator IDs. So let's quickly do that. So let me try to open the current access group and I will save as the same. So if you see, this training authors is the access group that is pointing to the training application. I want a similar access group that will point to the training dev application. So let me save as this. Okay, let me name it as training dev. Okay. Let me rename this to training dev authors. Okay, let's try to create and open. Okay, so my access group is created. Now I also need to change the application that this is pointing to, right? So I want this access group to point to the training dev application. So I've selected that. Now I have my access group ready. All you have to do is you have to just update the operator IDs of your development folks member to include this access group that we have just created. Okay, save. Okay, now if I try to switch application, I'll show you that the training dev is also listing down here, and all your development team members will work on this application, which is training dev. So this is the end-to-end process of how you enable branch-based development in your application. So this task usually will be done by one of the senior members in the team, the configuration part of it. And we as developers, all we have to do is we have to ensure that we are working on the branched application by using our specific branches. Okay, so now next I will try to create some branches and I'll try to show you how we actually work in branches. So this is my training dev application. So let me try to add a branch over here. Test branch. Okay, submit. So we give a branch name and we click on save. So this branch gets added to my application. Now let me try to save as some existing rules into this branch. So let's take some properties maybe. I have not created any rules at present, so I'll just make use of some out of the box rules only for this demo purpose. Okay, so let me try to save as this. Test branch. So if you see, when you try to save as any rule, it will ask you which branch you want to use. If you have multiple branches, so you need to select the correct branch from here. As of now, I have only one branch, so that is why it is showing me only one branch. I'll click on that, and then if you have different rule sets, right? Sometimes you have a framework application and you want to save as the rule into the rule set version of the framework application. So that you can do that from here. As of now, I just want to, I don't have any framework application. I just have my training application. So I select that radio button, applies to class. You can choose as per whatever use case you are building, and rule set you can choose from here. Okay, so I want my rule to go into the training rule set only. So if I do this and if I create an open, so you will see that there will be a copy of the, so since this is a property, it is giving me a duplicate. So I will just proceed anyway for now. Okay, so if you see now, this particular property that I tried to save as, it is being present in this branch also. Now, if I want to show you the branch, if this rule was moved to the branch or not. So let's open the branch from the application definition, and you can see that there is a one rule placed in it, and it is in my checked out state because I have not checked in yet. Okay, and here also you can see one rule is present. Okay, now if you want to see, branch, like what is branch exactly? So branch is also a rule set. If you remember earlier, I was showing you a regular rule set wherein I showed you this screen only, right? So even branch will be one rule set. It will be considered as a rule set only. And you can see the number of rules present in your branch. You can see if the rule is checked out or not. Okay, and if you can see the other details. It is just like a regular rule set. Okay, so branch is also a rule set in simple terms. Now, what happens if I check in this rule? Let's take an example and show you the merge process. We just, oh, I'm sorry. Dated for demo purpose. It is very important to give proper check-in comments because when you're working in a regular project, and I see a lot of people who are just giving work in progress or done or just some test comments, but that is not recommended. If you want the other people to know what changes each one of us have done in each of these rules, so it is very important to add a proper check-in comments whenever you are trying to check in any of the rules in Pega. Okay, so now this rule is checked in. So let's go back to the branch rule set and let's refresh it once. Okay, so if you can see, the checkout rules is 0 and there is one rules in my branch. Now, how do I merge this branch? Okay, I'll quickly show you the merge process also. Okay, so if you want to merge any branch, you have to open the branch. Then from the actions, there is something called merge. You can click on it. So while merging, it will ask you the rule set in which you want the contents of this branch to go and merged. So that you have to specify. So there will be a merge wizard screen that shows up. Okay, so it is asking us, it is showing us the source rule set, the target rule set. So source rule set is training, target rule set is also training. If there is any conflict and warnings, that will be displayed over here. If there is any target checked out rule, it will display it over here. If there is any source checked out rule, it will display it over here. So before merging the branch, you need to ensure that both of these are 0. You should not be having any checked out rules, okay, in either of your source rule set or target rule set. Now, like I told earlier, whenever you are merging any branch, it will ask you that in which rule set you want the contents to get reflected. So that you can select it from here. So if you want, the existing versions will be listed over here. So this training rule set is having two versions now, 010101 and 010102. If you want to place your branch rules into any of these, you can select this, or there is also an option to create a new version, create a new rule set version from here itself, and then though the branch rules will get saved into that. So let me select 010101 only because this is just the training demo purpose. Now it will ask you that you have to give a password for the rule set to be locked after the merge process. So for now, I'm just keeping rules. You usually should not be sharing the password, but since it is my personal edition, so it doesn't matter. Okay, and then there is a checkbox over here. Keep all rules, keep all source rules and rule sets after merge. So if you want to maintain the rules in your branch even after merging process, you can keep this checkbox as checked. And if you want to delete all the rules from the branch after the merge is successful, you can keep it unchecked. So this checkbox tells us those two scenarios. For now, I will keep it unchecked and I will click on merge. Okay, so it says all rule sets merged successfully. Now, if I want to see if my rule set has updated, so let's go back and refresh the branch rule set. So see, 0 rows. So that means the branch has been cleared and the rule that was present in the branch, that is moved out of the branch into the main rule set, which is training 010101. So if you see, right, the branch content is empty now. Now let us go and see our rule set training 010101 if our new rule is placed there or not. So let's see, earlier there was 9 rules, now we see 10 rule. And if I want to see, if you see, if I just sorted based on last updated column, so property, PY, owner, org unit, and updated by training admin about a minute ago. So this is the rule that was present in my branch, and I just merged the branch, and that rule got moved out of the branch into this rule set. So this is how branch-based development and merging works. So now since this rule branch has been merged and it is reflecting in my training rule set, right? So my training application, the actual training application that we had earlier, so they will be able to see the changes, whatever were present in the branch. So that is the advantage of working in branches. So you can ensure that the in progress code or the ongoing development activities, they are reflecting to the QA team or the end users only when the development is complete. No in progress code will be causing any issues to the QA team or the end users. So in real projects, there are multiple user stories and multiple sprints going on. So in such cases, there might be scenarios where your testing team is testing on the previous sprint user stories and the development team is working one sprint ahead on the next sprint user stories. So if you don't have branch-based development enabled over there, right? So there will be a lot of defects, there will be a lot of issues that will occur into the application due to in-progress code or the ongoing development activities. So Pega always recommends us to go with branch-based development if you want to enable parallel development and when you have a large group of developers working together in one application. Okay, so I hope this information was helpful. That is all for today's session. Thank you so much for listening in. If you have any questions, feel free to post your comments. And if you like my content, please subscribe to my channel and stay tuned to upcoming videos. Thank you. Have a nice day.